This is step one for the MIDI effects and audio effects tutorial. Before you get into starting the assignment, you really need to read all this text here. Read about MIDI effects, read about the MIDI effects that we're going to be using specifically, just a little bit on audio effects and the three that we're going to be focusing on for this assignment. And then there's also a little bit on ambient music, what that is, what its history is a little bit, and there's some really good examples of ambient music, and it's really critical that you listen to this stuff before we move on so that you kind of know the direction we're heading in with this assignment. And we're going to be making some ambient music using MIDI effects and audio effects. So step one really is just to set up your session just like normal. So we'll go ahead and open up Live. When it opens, we're going to save it as your name and _ambient. So that's always the first thing I recommend you do. So File, Save Live Set. Remember, if this window is small, click on this little arrow here and make it big. Find your audio drive. Find your folder that you've made for this class, and then we're going to name this Ryan Ambient. And then I'll hit save. Okay, so step one. Step two on this one, well, the next part of step one, I should say, is load three MIDI instruments on 3 separate MIDI tracks. Okay, and you need a specific kind of instruments for this music. Something from the drums category, something that's pad-like, and another instrument of your choosing. And I generally recommend that you get something short and percussive, like bells or mallets or piano or something like that. Something mellow, because this is ambient music. So let me just show you how to find these real quick and load them. So by default, you've got 2 MIDI tracks that are created when you open up any live session. You've also got 2 audio tracks, and we don't need the audio tracks again for this one, so I'm going to delete them. We do need the 2 MIDI tracks. In fact, we need a third one also, but I'll show you how to make that once we get there. So first thing is find some drums. So I recommend you just go to the drums category on this one, and these are all drum instruments. Specifically, you want to try and find a .adg. And if you click on the kit, it'll give you an example of what that kit sounds like. And then you can push spacebar to stop. There's so many kits to choose from. You really don't have a chance to listen to all of them, unfortunately. I think this one will be a good one. I tend to like a little bit more abstract drum kits for this assignment. And again, you're going for stuff that kind of has more mellow sound. So I like hand drums, percussion, African drums. This Indian drum is a good one too. So there's our drums. The next thing is pads. So to find good pads, go to the instruments category, and you can type in the word pad. And all these that pop up will have different pads in them, and you might have to kind of like open up some folders to kind of get to. When you find an .adv, that's the actual sound. So you can click on that. That's pretty cool, but it's a little bit intense. So there's, like I say, there's so many pads. Oh my goodness. That one's pretty cool. I think I'm going to go with this second one. So we'll drop that in. Got a space pad. And then for my third sound, again, anything you want. Just something that's going to work with the ambient music vibe, right? And so I really like mallets. And what a mallet is it's a type of stick that has like a soft or a rubbery end to it. And usually you're playing things like xylophones or marimbas or different kind of pitched percussion with it. Like that could be really cool, I think. Mallets. I'm going to leave that one open. Anyway, just kind of go through and like find some. That one could be good too. That one could be good also. Yeah, lots of different options on here. I'm going to go ahead and go with that first one. So when you get to the third one, if you just click and drag it anywhere in this open space and drop it, it will create your MIDI track for you on that. So I've got 3 instruments now. Okay. And then for the final part of this step, we need to create a MIDI clip with 1 to 3 notes for each instrument. Longer notes that last the entire bar generally have the best results. And this is, right now, it's going to seem really random. But in the next steps, you'll start to see like what this turns into. And you can always go back and adjust these, but I'm just going to show you real quick kind of what I mean. So if you, to create a MIDI clip, you just click on any one of these, double click on any one of these open tags. Make sure you click on the open area, not the little icon on the side. And it'll create your MIDI editor. And like I say, you just want to try and make some notes that last the entire section here. And the easiest way to do that actually is if you two-finger tap in the open space here, and down where it says fixed grid, select 1 bar. And what that'll do is when you enter in a note, it'll last the entire bar, right? 1 bar. And you really just pick kind of almost at random 2 notes. 1 to 3 notes is what's recommended. So I'm just going to go with 2. In your pad, I recommend that you kind of stay between like C3 and C5 for your range. So I'm going to kind of pick like, oops, forgot to do my little trick. 2-finger tap, 1 bar. I'm just going to pick 3 notes right about there. And then mallet stab, same thing. 2-finger tap, go to 1 bar. And again, I'm going to try and stay between C3 and C5. I'll do these up a little bit higher. We'll do here, here, and here. Totally random. And if I push play on all these right now, it's going to sound like garbage. No, it actually didn't sound too bad. But you'll see in the next step, we're going to start adding MIDI effects and audio effects to these really simple clip ideas, and they're going to turn into these really evolving, cool landscapes. So see you in the next step.